Ever wondered why brilliant minds sometimes stumble? The audiobook Speak Less, Achieve More: Why Smart People Fail holds the key. Uncover the hidden power that can elevate your success in both personal and professional realms. Don't let your intelligence work against you. Learn to communicate with impact and influence. Don't miss out on unlocking your full potential. This book is your key to transforming relationships, boosting productivity, and achieving goals you never thought possible. Transform your life through the art of strategic communication. Before we go on, I invite you to download the free bundle, which contains the ebook version of this book and an executive summary of all the chapters with the key takeaways. Studies show that engaging with content through multiple formats significantly enhances learning and retention. Click on the first link in the description to claim your free bundle now and maximize your learning potential. Now it's free, but it won't be for long, so make sure to grab it while you can. Chapter 1: Why Words Fail. In a world where information flows ceaselessly, the ability to communicate effectively has never been more crucial. Yet paradoxically, it's often those with the most knowledge who struggle to convey their ideas clearly and concisely. This chapter delves into the heart of why words fail us, especially when we believe that more is better. Imagine a brilliant scientist, brimming with groundbreaking ideas, standing before a room of potential investors. As she begins to speak, her words tumble out in a torrent of technical jargon and intricate details. The investors' eyes glaze over, their attention wanes, and a potentially world-changing opportunity slips away. This scenario plays out countless times across boardrooms, classrooms, and personal relationships. The question is, why? The answer lies in a complex interplay of cognitive biases, social pressures, and misguided assumptions about effective communication. At its core, the problem stems from a fundamental misconception: the belief that more words equate to greater impact. This myth permeates our culture, from academic writing to corporate presentations, leading us to equate verbosity with intelligence and thoroughness. However, research in cognitive psychology tells a different story. Our brains are wired to process information in chunks, and there's a limit to how much we can absorb at once. When we're bombarded with excessive information, our cognitive resources become overwhelmed, leading to a phenomenon known as cognitive overload. In this state, our ability to process, understand, and retain information dramatically decreases. This is where the illusion of transparency comes into play. As speakers, we often fall into the trap of assuming that our message is clearer to our audience than it actually is. We believe that because we understand the intricacies of our thoughts, others will naturally follow our logic. This cognitive bias leads us to over-explain, adding layer upon layer of information in an attempt to ensure clarity, when in reality, we're muddying the waters. Compounding this issue is the overconfidence effect. Highly intelligent individuals, in particular, may feel compelled to demonstrate the full extent of their knowledge. This drive to showcase expertise can result in an information dump that overwhelms listeners rather than enlightening them. The irony is that in trying to appear more competent, we often achieve the opposite effect, coming across as unfocused or insecure. But the consequences of verbal overload extend beyond mere confusion. When we inundate our audience with words, we risk wasting not only their time, but also their mental energy. This can lead to listener fatigue, where the audience simply tunes out, missing crucial points amidst the verbal deluge. Moreover, excessive talking can obscure our key messages, burying important insights under a mountain of superfluous details. The cost of this communication failure is high. In professional settings, it can mean lost opportunities, failed projects, and damaged reputations. In personal relationships, it can lead to misunderstandings, conflicts, and emotional distance. The ability to communicate clearly and concisely is not just a nice-to-have skill. It's a fundamental requirement for success in virtually every aspect of life. So, what can we do to overcome these challenges? The first step is awareness. By recognizing our tendencies toward verbal overload, we can begin to make conscious choices about how we communicate. This means paying attention to our speech patterns, noticing when we're prone to rambling or over-explaining, and actively working to streamline our messages. One powerful technique is the practice of strategic silence. By incorporating brief pauses before responding, we give ourselves time to formulate clearer, more concise thoughts. These moments of reflection also allow our listeners to process what's been said, leading to more meaningful exchanges. As we become more comfortable with these pauses, we'll find that they not only improve our communication, but also project an air of confidence and thoughtfulness. Equally important is developing our listening skills. When we focus on truly hearing and understanding others, we naturally become more attuned to the essentials of effective communication. We learn to pick up on subtle cues that indicate whether our message is being received as intended, allowing us to adjust our approach in real time. As we begin to implement these strategies, we'll likely notice immediate improvements in our interactions. However, the real power of this approach lies in its long-term effects. Over time, as we consistently practice speaking with greater intention and brevity, we'll develop a reputation for clear, impactful communication. This can lead to enhanced personal and professional influence as others come to trust and value our input. Moreover, this journey toward more effective communication is also a path to greater self-awareness and emotional control. By learning to recognize the emotional triggers that lead us to overtalk, whether it's nervousness, a desire to impress, or fear of being misunderstood, we can develop strategies to maintain composure in high-pressure situations. This self-mastery not only improves our communication, but also boosts our overall confidence and poise. The process of refining our communication style involves several key steps. First and foremost is adopting a mindset of intentionality. This means committing to observe our speech patterns closely, focusing on the value behind each statement we make. It involves cultivating an internal pause before speaking, giving us a moment to consider whether what we're about to say truly adds value to the conversation. Equally crucial is recognizing and addressing the cognitive and social biases that influence our communication. By pinpointing specific biases like overconfidence and the illusion of transparency, we can develop strategies to counteract their effects. This might involve regularly seeking feedback on our communication style or practicing techniques to gauge our audience's level of understanding more accurately. These steps are designed to create a gradual shift from awareness to action. By building a strong foundation of self-observation, we can progress logically from recognizing our communication issues to actively changing our habits. Each step in this process supports and enhances the next, creating a structured progression that facilitates deeper, more lasting impact. As we embark on this journey to more effective communication, it's important to remember that the goal is not to eliminate words entirely, but to use them more judiciously. The power of concise, well-chosen words cannot be overstated. When we speak with clarity and purpose, we command attention, inspire action, and forge stronger connections with others. The path to mastering this skill is ongoing, requiring consistent practice and self-reflection. It involves challenging deeply ingrained habits and confronting our own insecurities about how we're perceived. But the rewards are immense. By learning to speak less and achieve more, we open doors to new opportunities, deeper relationships, and a more profound impact on the world around us. As we move forward, we'll explore specific techniques for harnessing the power of silence, crafting impactful messages, and navigating complex social dynamics with grace and efficiency. We'll delve into the art of listening deeply, the science of persuasion, and the subtle nuances of nonverbal communication. Each chapter will build upon the last, providing you with a comprehensive toolkit for transforming your communication style. The journey ahead promises not just to change how you speak, but how you think, interact, and influence. It's a path that leads to greater clarity, confidence, and connection in every aspect of your life. Are you ready to discover the hidden power of saying less? The next chapter awaits, revealing the transformative potential of mindful silence in a world of noise. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Grow to the Top and activate notifications to receive more self-improvement tips, that will supercharge your growth. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It really helps the channel grow. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2: Mindful Silence. In the cacophony of our daily lives, silence often feels like a rare commodity. We're surrounded by a constant barrage of noise, from the ping of notifications to the hum of conversations. Yet, within this sea of sound lies an untapped resource of immense power. It's a tool so simple, yet so profound, that its potential often goes unrecognized. This chapter invites you to explore the transformative power of mindful silence. But what exactly is mindful silence? It's not merely the absence of speech or the awkward lull in a conversation. Instead, it's a deliberate, strategic approach to communication that harnesses the power of the unsaid. It's about creating space, not just in the air around us, but in our minds and in the minds of those we interact with. The importance of this skill cannot be overstated. In a world where everyone is clamoring to be heard, the ability to step back and create moments of thoughtful quiet can set you apart. It shifts the focus from constant output to meaningful input, from speaking to listening. This shift is not just about being polite or avoiding interruptions. It's about fundamentally changing the dynamics of our interactions. When we embrace mindful silence, we open up a realm of possibilities. We create space for reflection and clarity, not just for ourselves, but for those around us. In these moments of quiet, our brains have the opportunity to process information more effectively. It's like giving our mental gears a chance to catch up and align, leading to more insightful thoughts and responses. Moreover, silence has a unique power to inspire curiosity and attention. In a conversation punctuated by thoughtful pauses, each word gains weight and significance. People lean in, both literally and figuratively, eager to hear what will come next. This heightened attention leads to better retention of key points and a deeper engagement with the subject at hand. But the benefits of mindful silence extend beyond just improved information processing. It's a powerful tool for reducing verbal clutter and increasing impact. By limiting unnecessary talk, we draw others in. There's an inherent mystery in silence that piques interest and commands attention. It's counterintuitive, but often, the less we say, the more others want to hear from us. This strategic use of silence can also significantly strengthen our authority and composure. Think of the stereotypical image of a wise leader or mentor. They often speak less, but with greater impact. This is not coincidental. Composed stillness projects confidence and control. It suggests that we're comfortable in our own skin and secure in our knowledge and position. To truly harness the power of mindful silence, we need to redefine our understanding of it. Silence is not the absence of content. It's a form of communication in itself. It's active, not passive. When we pause in conversation, we're not just stopping the flow of words, we're creating a space filled with potential. This space can be used for emphasis, for reflection, or for allowing others to contribute. The psychological foundations of purposeful pausing are rooted in cognitive science. When we speak continuously, we're not just taxing our own mental resources, we're also overwhelming our listeners. Pauses give both the speaker and the listener time to process information. It's like taking a breath between bites. It allows for better digestion of ideas. Furthermore, controlled quiet has a fascinating effect on perceived authority. Studies in social psychology have shown that individuals who use silence strategically are often viewed as more competent and confident. This perception isn't just about appearing wise. It actually changes the dynamics of interactions, often giving the silent party more influence over the conversation's direction. So how can we start introducing silence into our communication? One effective technique is the use of short pauses for emphasis. After making a key point, take a moment to let it sink in. This brief silence acts like a highlighter, drawing attention to what was just said. It gives your words room to breathe and your listeners time to absorb. Another powerful approach is allowing gaps for reflective listening. Instead of immediately jumping in with a response, give yourself and others time to think. This not only leads to more thoughtful exchanges, but also demonstrates respect for others' perspectives. It shows that you value their input enough to consider it carefully. Mastering mindful silence requires practice and self-awareness. One helpful exercise is to observe your breath and inner urges to fill space. Often, we rush to fill silences out of discomfort or habit. By becoming aware of this impulse, we can start to control it. Try setting a timer for 30 seconds and simply sit in silence, noting the thoughts and feelings that arise. Another useful exercise is practicing time-limited statements. Challenge yourself to express an idea in 30 seconds or less, then pause for an equal amount of time. This not only helps you become more concise, but also accustoms you to the rhythm of alternating speech and silence. To truly integrate mindful silence into your life, it's important to build it as a habit. Start by setting intentional pause points in your daily conversations. These could be after asking a question, before responding to a complex issue, or after making an important statement. Use a mental timer to allow silence to unfold naturally, resisting the urge to jump in too quickly. It's also crucial to reflect on the emotional triggers that disrupt stillness. Do you fill silences out of nervousness, a need to prove yourself? Understanding these triggers can help you overcome them and maintain composure in quiet moments. Incorporating silent reflection in professional settings can be particularly powerful. In team discussions, try implementing brief periods of silence after presenting an idea or problem. This gives everyone a chance to process and formulate thoughtful responses. You can encourage others to share by pausing intentionally after they speak, creating space for them to elaborate or for others to build on their ideas. When you do break the silence, follow up with concise, focused commentary. This contrast between quiet and speech can be incredibly effective in emphasizing your points and maintaining engagement. As you begin to implement these strategies, you'll likely notice some immediate benefits. A good outcome might include a reduction in filler words and more coherent speech. You may find that your peers start to show increased respect for your composure and thoughtfulness. An excellent outcome could involve a markedly improved ability to guide conversations effectively. You might notice that you're able to steer discussions in more productive directions simply by using strategic silences. Additionally, you may experience deeper connections with listeners due to the more balanced, thoughtful dialogue you're creating. The best possible outcome is the seamless integration of silence into your signature communication style. At this level, mindful silence becomes a natural, effortless part of how you interact with the world. You might find yourself recognized as a calm, authoritative presence in high-stakes settings, someone whose words carry weight precisely because they're used judiciously. Of course, as with any new skill, there can be pitfalls. One common issue is the misinterpretation of silence as disinterest. To avoid this, use minimal affirmative cues, a nod, a smile, or a small to show that you're engaged even when not speaking. When you do break the silence, follow up with genuine, active responses that demonstrate you've been listening intently. Another potential problem is overusing silence to the point of social discomfort. The key here is balance. Use pauses with a clear sense of purpose, not just for the sake of being quiet. Practice moderate, situationally appropriate restraint. Remember, the goal is to enhance communication, not to shut it down. As you continue to explore and implement mindful silence, you'll likely discover its effects rippling out into various aspects of your life. You may find that your relationships deepen as you become a better listener. Your decision-making might improve as you give yourself time to truly process information before responding. In professional settings, you could notice an increase in your influence and perceived competence. The journey to mastering mindful silence is ongoing. It's a skill that can be continually refined and adapted to different situations. As you progress, you'll develop an intuitive sense of when to speak and when to hold back, when to push forward and when to create space for others. Remember, the power of mindful silence lies not just in what it allows you to do, but in who it allows you to become. It's a pathway to greater self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and interpersonal effectiveness. By embracing the power of the pause, You're not just changing how you communicate, you're transforming how you engage with the world around you. As we close this chapter, consider the moments of silence you've experienced that have left a lasting impact. What made them powerful? How did they shape the interaction or the outcome? As you move forward, carry with you the understanding that sometimes the most profound statements are made without words. In the next chapter, we'll explore another dimension of effective communication, one that might seem at odds with what we've just discussed. But as you'll soon discover, mastering this seemingly contradictory skill is crucial for achieving true communicative balance. Are you ready to uncover the hidden dangers lurking in your words? Chapter 3: Overtalking Dangers. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you couldn't stop talking? Perhaps it was during an important presentation, a job interview, or even a casual conversation with friends. You might have noticed a glazed look in your listener's eyes or a subtle shift in their body language. Yet, you continued, driven by an inexplicable urge to fill the silence, to clarify every point, to showcase every bit of knowledge you possessed. This phenomenon, while common, harbors a set of hidden dangers that can significantly impact our personal and professional lives. In this chapter, we'll explore these perils and uncover strategies to navigate the treacherous waters of excessive speech. At its core, the danger of overtalking lies in its deceptive nature. It often stems from good intentions, a desire to be thorough, to demonstrate expertise, or to ensure complete understanding. However, like a river that overflows its banks, too much of a good thing can lead to unexpected and unwanted consequences. One of the primary reasons addressing this issue is crucial is the preservation of clarity and authority. It might seem counterintuitive, but rambling actually weakens our main points rather than reinforcing them. When we flood our listeners with a torrent of words, we inadvertently bury our key messages under a deluge of unnecessary information. Consider the impact of listener fatigue. Our brains have limited capacity for processing information, and when bombarded with excessive input, they naturally start to tune out. This mental fatigue can set in surprisingly quickly, sometimes within minutes of the start of a long-winded explanation. As a result, even if we eventually get to our most important points, our audience may no longer be receptive. The power of brevity in reinforcing core ideas cannot be overstated. When we distill our thoughts into concise, impactful statements, we give each word more weight. It's like the difference between a laser and a floodlight. While the floodlight illuminates a broad area, the laser's focused beam can cut through steel. Another critical aspect of overtalking is the pitfall of oversharing. In our eagerness to connect or to demonstrate our knowledge, we might reveal unnecessary information. This can range from personal details that are inappropriate for the setting to tangential facts that distract from the main topic. Learning to identify when we're veering into oversharing territory is a crucial skill in maintaining professionalism and staying on topic. Moreover, controlled speech helps strengthen personal boundaries. By being mindful of what we choose to share and how much we say, we maintain a level of privacy and mystery that can actually enhance our interpersonal relationships and professional standing. But how do we identify when we've crossed the line into excess verbiage? There are several telltale signs of rambling that we can learn to recognize. These include losing track of our original point, repeating ourselves, or noticing that we're providing more detail than the situation warrants. Unnecessary details and filler words are also red flags. These might include excessive background information, tangential anecdotes, or phrases like and that pepper our speech without adding value. The consequences of overtalking can be severe and far-reaching. Perhaps the most significant is the dilution of our core message. When we surround our main points with a sea of extraneous information, we make it difficult for our listeners to identify and remember what's truly important. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. The more hay we add, the harder it becomes to locate the needle. Equally concerning is the potential for reduced credibility and lost trust. Psychological studies have shown that people who talk excessively are often perceived as less competent and less trustworthy. This perception stems from the idea that someone who needs to say so much might be trying to compensate for a lack of real knowledge or confidence. So how do we stem this tide of excess words? One effective strategy is creating what we might call verbal boundaries. These are self-imposed limits on how much we'll say on a given topic or in a particular situation. By setting these boundaries in advance, we give ourselves a framework within which to operate, making it easier to stay focused and concise. Another powerful tool is the use of summaries and key phrases. By distilling our message into a few core statements or memorable phrases, we provide our listeners with mental anchors. These summaries serve as touchstones, helping both us and our audience stay oriented within the conversation. Self-monitoring for conciseness is a skill that can be developed with practice. One approach is to set word limits for yourself. This doesn't mean counting every word you say, but rather having a general sense of how long you should speak on a given topic. For instance, you might decide that your explanation of a concept should take no more than 2 minutes. Recognizing trigger situations, those circumstances that tend to prompt us to overtalk, is also crucial. These might include feeling nervous, trying to impress someone, or discussing a topic we're particularly passionate about. By identifying these triggers, we can be more vigilant in those situations and better prepared to control our verbal output. Practical application of these concepts requires both preparation and real-time awareness. Pre-conversation planning can be immensely helpful. Before important discussions or presentations, take the time to outline your core points. What are the essential ideas you need to convey? Prepare concise wording for common topics you often discuss. This preparation can serve as a mental roadmap, helping you stay on track and avoid unnecessary detours. During conversations, implement real-time checkpoints. Periodically pause to assess your speech pace and the engagement level of your listeners. Are they still with you, or have their eyes glazed over? Don't be afraid to invite listener input. Not only does this break up potential monologues, but it also ensures that the conversation remains relevant and engaging for all parties involved. You might also develop subtle personal signals that remind you to be concise. This could be as simple as a mental image that you conjure when you feel yourself starting to ramble, or a physical cue like touching your thumb to your forefinger. As you begin to implement these strategies, you'll likely notice a range of positive outcomes. At a basic level, you'll experience fewer instances of rambling and more listener engagement. You'll find yourself better able to stay relevant in discussions, keeping both yourself and your audience focused on the core issues at hand. An excellent outcome would be gaining greater respect and attentiveness from your listeners. As you become known for your clarity and focus, people will be more inclined to pay attention when you speak, knowing that your words will be worth their time and mental energy. The best possible outcome is achieving masterful control over conversation flow. This means not just avoiding overtalking, but strategically using your words to guide discussions, emphasize key points, and create space for others to contribute. At this level, you might find yourself recognized as a leader who truly values others' time and input, a rare and highly respected quality in both personal and professional spheres. Of course, in our efforts to curb overtalking, we must be careful not to swing too far in the opposite direction. Abruptly cutting yourself off can leave your message incomplete or your listeners confused. The key is to find a balance, acknowledging that there are times when more detailed explanations are necessary or beneficial. Similarly, it's important not to confuse silence with having no input. Learning to pause strategically without losing the thread of the conversation is a valuable skill. You can use these pauses to gather your thoughts, allow others to process what you've said, or invite contributions from others. Targeted questions can be an excellent way to maintain engagement without dominating the conversation. As we conclude this exploration of the dangers of overtalking, reflect on your own communication patterns. Are there situations where you tend to say more than necessary? How might implementing some of these strategies change the dynamics of your interactions? Remember, the goal isn't to strip your speech of all personality or to reduce every interaction to its bare minimum. Rather, it's about becoming more intentional with your words, more respectful of others' time and attention, and ultimately, more effective in your communication. In our next chapter, we'll delve into a skill that complements and enhances everything we've discussed so far. It's a capability that, when mastered, can dramatically amplify your influence and understanding. Are you ready to unlock the hidden power that lies not in what you say, but in what you hear? Chapter 4. Focused Listening. In the grand symphony of communication, we often focus on the notes we play, our words, our tone, our delivery. But what if the true power lies not in the sound we make, but in the silence we create? What if the key to unlocking deeper connections, greater understanding, and more influential interactions isn't about perfecting our speech, but about honing our ability to truly hear? This chapter invites you to explore a dimension of communication that's often overlooked, yet profoundly impactful. It's a skill that, when mastered, can transform not just how you interact with others, but how you perceive the world around you. We're delving into the art and science of focused listening. But what exactly is focused listening? It's more than just hearing words. It's about tuning in to the full spectrum of communication, the spoken and unspoken, the obvious and the subtle. It's about creating a space where understanding can flourish and genuine connections can form. The importance of this skill cannot be overstated. In a world where everyone is clamoring to be heard, the ability to truly listen has become a rare and valuable commodity. It's the foundation upon which trust is built, misunderstandings are prevented, and empathy is cultivated. Consider for a moment the last time you felt truly heard. Not just listened to, but deeply understood. How did it make you feel? Chances are, it created a sense of validation, of connection, of respect. This is the power of focused listening. It has the ability to deepen understanding and trust in ways that words alone cannot achieve. When we engage in focused listening, we're not just passively receiving information. We're actively participating in the creation of meaning. We're recognizing the role that listening plays in establishing rapport, in preventing misunderstandings, and in fostering genuine connections through empathy. Moreover, focused listening is a powerful tool for minimizing miscommunication. By truly hearing and clarifying the speaker's main points, we reduce confusion and enhance collaboration. We create a shared understanding that strengthens teamwork and values diverse perspectives. But here's the thing. Listening, real listening, is an active process. It's not about waiting for your turn to speak or formulating your response while the other person is talking. It's about being fully present, engaged, and receptive to what's being communicated. This kind of listening requires a shift in mindset. Instead of approaching conversations with the primary goal of expressing our own thoughts, we need to cultivate a genuine curiosity about the other person's perspective. It's about moving beyond sympathetic responses, those automatic "I understand" or "that must be tough" statements, to true empathy, where we strive to see the world through the speaker's eyes. The science behind active listening is fascinating. Neuroscience studies have shown that when we engage in focused listening, it actually reduces our cognitive load. Instead of juggling our own thoughts, formulating responses, and half listening all at the same time, we free up mental resources to truly process and understand what's being said. Furthermore, the act of listening builds trust through validation. When people feel heard, they feel valued. This creates a positive feedback loop that enhances the quality of communication and strengthens relationships over time. So how can we sharpen our listening skills? One powerful technique is paraphrasing and reflecting. This involves summarizing what you've heard in your own words and reflecting it back to the speaker. It's not about parroting their words, but about demonstrating that you've understood the essence of their message. Another effective tool is strategic questioning for clarity. This isn't about interrogation, but about asking thoughtful questions that help both you and the speaker explore the topic more deeply. It shows that you're engaged and interested, and it can often lead to new insights for both parties. Deep listening also involves paying attention to nonverbal cues. Our body language can speak volumes about our level of engagement. Making eye contact, leaning slightly forward, and nodding at appropriate moments all signal that you're present and attentive. These subtle cues can encourage openness and foster mutual respect. But how do we translate these concepts into practical, everyday habits? One approach is to practice structured listening sessions. Set aside dedicated time to practice silent absorption. This might feel uncomfortable at first. We're often conditioned to fill silences, but it's a powerful way to train your listening muscles. During these sessions, use prompts to confirm your understanding. These could be simple phrases like, "What I'm hearing is," or "It sounds like you're saying." Follow these with short summaries before responding. This not only ensures you've grasped the main points, but also gives the speaker a chance to clarify if needed. Integrating active listening into professional settings can be particularly impactful. In meetings, try to listen for underlying themes rather than just facts and figures. What are the unspoken concerns or aspirations behind what's being said? Use reflective questions to clarify goals and encourage feedback loops to refine collaboration. As you begin to implement these strategies, you'll likely notice a range of positive outcomes. At a basic level, you'll experience an increased awareness of others' viewpoints and reduced tension during discussions. You'll find yourself better able to navigate complex conversations and resolve misunderstandings before they escalate. An excellent outcome would be improved negotiation results through enhanced empathy. When you truly understand where the other person is coming from, you're better equipped to find mutually beneficial solutions. You might also notice elevated trust and cohesiveness within your teams as people feel more valued and understood. The best possible outcome is developing a consistent ability to diffuse conflicts by truly hearing concerns. This doesn't mean you'll always agree, but you'll be able to navigate disagreements with greater skill and sensitivity. You might find yourself recognized as a thoughtful, attentive leader in both personal and professional settings, someone people seek out when they need to be truly heard and understood. Of course, as with any skill, there can be pitfalls along the way. One common issue is confusing passive hearing with active listening. It's easy to zone out or pay only superficial attention, especially if the topic isn't immediately engaging. To combat this, develop mental checkpoints for yourself. Periodically ask yourself questions like, "What's the main point being made here?" Or "How does this relate to what was said earlier?" These internal prompts can help redirect your focus if you find your mind wandering. Another potential problem is overcompensation through excessive echoing. In an effort to show we're listening, we might fall into the trap of simply repeating what's been said without adding any insight. While paraphrasing is a useful tool, it should be used judiciously. The goal is to reflect understanding, not to parrot words. Instead of mere repetition, try to offer genuine reflective feedback that demonstrates you've processed the information and can relate it to broader contexts or implications. As you continue to develop your focused listening skills, you'll likely find that it impacts far more than just your communication. It can change how you perceive the world around you, enhancing your ability to pick up on subtle cues and underlying meanings in all aspects of life. Remember, becoming a skilled listener doesn't mean becoming a passive participant in conversations. On the contrary, it allows you to engage more deeply and meaningfully. It empowers you to ask better questions, to offer more insightful responses, and to build stronger, more authentic connections with others. The journey to mastering focused listening is ongoing. It requires consistent practice, self-awareness, and a willingness to sometimes set aside our own agenda in service of truly understanding another person's perspective. But the rewards, in terms of enhanced relationships, more effective problem-solving, and personal growth, are immeasurable. As we conclude this exploration of focused listening, take a moment to reflect on your own listening habits. How often do you find yourself truly, deeply listening to others? What might change in your interactions if you approached each conversation with the primary goal of understanding rather than responding? In our next chapter, we'll delve into a fascinating paradox. We'll explore how the very qualities that often lead to success can sometimes become our greatest obstacles. Are you ready to uncover the hidden traps that even the most intelligent among us can fall into? Prepare to challenge your assumptions about what it truly means to be smart in our complex, fast-paced world. Chapter 5: Smart Pitfalls. Intelligence is often celebrated as the key to success, the golden ticket to achievement in our complex world. We admire those with quick minds and deep knowledge, assuming that their intellectual prowess naturally translates into effective communication and leadership. But what if this very asset, this cognitive gift, could sometimes become a liability? In this chapter, we'll explore a paradox that many highly intelligent individuals encounter, the ways in which their own brilliance can sometimes work against them. We'll uncover the hidden traps that lurk in the shadows of expertise, waiting to ensnare even the most capable minds. At first glance, it might seem counterintuitive that being smart could ever be a disadvantage. After all, isn't more knowledge always better? Isn't the ability to grasp complex concepts quickly an unmitigated blessing? As we'll discover, the answer isn't as straightforward as it might appear. The crux of the matter lies in how we manage our intellectual resources, particularly in our interactions with others. It's not about diminishing our intelligence or downplaying our expertise. Rather, it's about learning to wield these powerful tools with precision and care, understanding that sometimes less can indeed be more. One of the primary reasons this topic is crucial is the prevention of cognitive overload. Our brains, remarkable as they are, have limits to how much information they can process at once. When we flood our audience with an abundance of details, no matter how fascinating we find them, we risk overwhelming their cognitive capacity. This overload can lead to confusion, disengagement, and ultimately, a failure to convey our message effectively. The key is to recognize when we're crossing that fine line between informative and overwhelming. It requires a shift in mindset, prioritizing clarity over the showcasing of our expertise. This doesn't mean dumbing down our ideas, but rather presenting them in a way that maintains listener engagement and receptivity. Another critical aspect is balancing depth with accessibility. In any given conversation or presentation, we're likely to encounter varying levels of knowledge among our listeners. The challenge lies in crafting our message in a way that's meaningful to experts while still being comprehensible to novices. It's about fostering inclusive dialogue through mindful language, encouraging productive exchanges that enlighten rather than intimidate. This balancing act brings us to a fundamental question: how do we bridge the gap between complexity and clarity? The answer lies in understanding that intelligence and effective communication are not always synonymous. Being able to grasp complex ideas is one skill. Being able to explain them simply is another entirely. Expertise, while invaluable, can sometimes work against us. One common pitfall is the overuse of jargon. When we're deeply immersed in a field, it's easy to forget that terms we use daily might be unfamiliar or confusing to others. We might inadvertently create barriers to understanding, alienating our audience instead of engaging them. Similarly, we often fall into the trap of assuming shared knowledge. Because a concept seems obvious or basic to us, we might skip over important foundational information that our listeners need to fully grasp our message. This assumption can leave our audience feeling lost, or worse, make them hesitant to ask for clarification for fear of appearing uninformed. Over-explaining is another common pitfall for highly intelligent individuals. In our enthusiasm to share our knowledge or ensure complete understanding, we might provide far more detail than is necessary or desired. This not only risks cognitive overload for our audience, but can also have the unintended effect of diminishing listener confidence. When we over-explain, we might inadvertently send the message that we don't trust our listeners' ability to understand, potentially undermining their engagement and receptivity. So how do we recalibrate our expertise to avoid these pitfalls? The key lies in finding ways to simplify concepts without being patronizing. It's about distilling complex ideas to their essence, presenting them in a way that's accessible without losing their depth or significance. This requires a delicate balance between depth and brevity, knowing when to elaborate and when to let the core idea stand on its own. Practical application of these concepts requires both preparation and real-time awareness. Before engaging in a conversation or presentation, it's helpful to pre-evaluate the complexity of the topic. Ask yourself, what is the minimum necessary detail required to convey this idea effectively? Are there analogies or simple examples that could help illustrate complex points? Using analogies can be particularly powerful. They provide a bridge between the familiar and the unfamiliar, allowing listeners to grasp new concepts by relating them to things they already understand. However, it's important to choose analogies carefully, ensuring they're relevant and appropriate for your audience. Another crucial strategy is to actively seek feedback from your listeners. This doesn't mean constantly interrupting your own flow to ask if everyone understands, but rather being attuned to verbal and nonverbal cues that might indicate confusion or disengagement. Creating space for questions and being genuinely open to clarification requests can go a long way in ensuring your message is being received as intended. Tailoring your language to your audience is another vital skill. This doesn't mean using a completely different vocabulary for every conversation, but rather being mindful of the level of familiarity your listeners have with the topic at hand. It's about finding that sweet spot where your language is precise enough to convey your ideas accurately, but accessible enough to be widely understood. When more detailed explanations are necessary, offer them concisely and only upon request. This approach respects your listeners' intelligence while still providing the option for deeper exploration. It also helps maintain the flow of the conversation or presentation, preventing it from getting bogged down in excessive detail. As you implement these strategies, you're likely to see a range of positive outcomes. At a basic level, you'll notice fewer instances of glazed-over listeners and better alignment between your intent and your audience's perception. Your ideas will start to land more effectively, and you'll find yourself able to engage in more productive, meaningful exchanges. An excellent outcome would be the ability to transition smoothly from complex topics to practical understanding. You'll develop a reputation as a clear, insightful communicator, someone who can break down difficult concepts without losing their essence. This skill is invaluable in both professional and personal contexts, enhancing your ability to lead, teach, and influence. The best possible outcome is achieving a masterful handling of sophisticated concepts with universal appeal. You'll become known as a go-to resource for balanced, accessible expertise, someone who can bridge the gap between specialized knowledge and general understanding. This ability can open doors to leadership opportunities, enhance your professional standing, and allow you to make a broader impact with your ideas. Of course, in our efforts to avoid overwhelming our audience, we must be careful not to swing too far in the opposite direction. Underestimating listener knowledge can be just as problematic as overestimating it. If we talk down to our audience or oversimplify to the point of losing substance, we risk alienating them in a different way. The key is to remain flexible and responsive. Ask clarifying questions to gauge the right level of detail needed. Pay attention to how your audience is reacting. Are they leaning in, eager for more information, or are they starting to show signs of disinterest or overwhelm? Being attuned to these cues allows you to adjust your approach in real time, ensuring your communication remains engaging and effective. Remember, the goal isn't to diminish your intelligence or expertise. It's about learning to communicate that brilliance in a way that resonates with and empowers others. It's about recognizing that true mastery of a subject isn't just about knowing everything there is to know, but about being able to convey that knowledge in a way that enlightens and inspires. As we conclude this exploration of smart pitfalls, take a moment to reflect on your own communication habits. Are there areas where your expertise might be creating barriers rather than bridges? How might you adjust your approach to make your ideas more accessible without losing their depth? In our next chapter, we'll delve into a skill that can transform the way you express your ideas. It's an approach that can cut through complexity like a laser, leaving your audience not just informed, but truly enlightened. Are you ready to discover the art of distilling vast oceans of knowledge into potent drops of wisdom? Prepare to unlock the power of precision in your communication. Chapter 6: Precision Communication. In a world inundated with information, where attention spans are shrinking and time is an ever-precious commodity, the ability to communicate with precision has become a superpower. But what exactly does it mean to communicate with precision? Is it simply about using fewer words, or is there a deeper art to it? As we embark on this exploration of precision communication, imagine yourself as a skilled archer. Your words are your arrows, your message the target. The goal isn't just to hit the target, but to strike its very center with unerring accuracy. This chapter will equip you with the skills to do just that, to craft messages that not only reach their mark, but leave a lasting impact. The importance of this skill cannot be overstated. In our fast-paced world, the ability to maximize impact in minimal time is not just an advantage, it's a necessity. Whether you're pitching an idea to investors, presenting a proposal to colleagues, or simply trying to make a point in a casual conversation, the power of precision can make the difference between success and failure. Consider the last time you found yourself in a situation where you had mere moments to make an impression or convey a crucial point. Perhaps it was an unexpected encounter with a potential client in an elevator, or a brief window of opportunity to pitch your idea to a superior. In these situations, every word counts. The ability to distill complex points into memorable statements, to command attention by leading with clarity, can open doors that might otherwise remain firmly closed. But precision communication isn't just about adapting to time constraints. It's also a powerful tool for enhancing your personal brand. When you develop a recognizable style of concise communication, you set yourself apart. You avoid the confusion that can undermine credibility and instead reinforce a reputation for reliability and focus. In a world where many struggle to express themselves clearly, the ability to do so becomes a mark of competence and leadership. At its core, precision communication is about the art of concise messaging. It starts with defining your core point. What is the single most important idea you want to convey? Once you've identified this, the next step is to ruthlessly eliminate redundant words. This doesn't mean stripping your message of all nuance or detail, but rather ensuring that every word serves a purpose. Crafting impactful statements requires a delicate balance of clarity and emotional resonance. Clear, direct language forms the foundation. It's about choosing words that are unambiguous and easily understood. But true impact comes from leveraging emotional resonance. This doesn't mean resorting to manipulation or hyperbole. Instead, it's about finding the words that not only convey your message accurately, but also connect with your audience on a deeper level. To achieve this level of precision, it's helpful to have tools for streamlined expression at your disposal. Structured templates and frameworks can provide a starting point, helping you organize your thoughts and ensure you cover all necessary points without veering into unnecessary territory. Visualizing the flow of ideas can also be immensely helpful. This might involve creating mental maps or even physical diagrams to see how different elements of your message connect. Polishing and refining your delivery is an ongoing process. It involves proofreading your speech in real time, listening to yourself as you speak, and making micro-adjustments on the fly. Are you using filler words? Are you repeating yourself unnecessarily? Are you straying from your main point? This level of self-awareness takes practice, but can dramatically improve the precision of your communication. Equally important is checking for alignment with audience needs. The most precise message in the world won't be effective if it doesn't resonate with your listeners. This requires a deep understanding of your audience, their knowledge level, their interests, their concerns. It's about finding the sweet spot where your message meets their needs. So how can you apply these concepts in your daily life? One practical step is to build a concise vocabulary. This doesn't mean using big words to sound impressive. On the contrary, it's about curating a list of power words, clear, impactful terms that you can use frequently. Replace filler phrases with pointed language. Eliminate technical jargon unless it's absolutely necessary. The goal is to have a toolkit of words that allow you to express complex ideas simply and effectively. Rehearsing key messages is another crucial practice. For conversations or presentations that recur in your professional or personal life, take the time to outline key talking points. Time your statements to ensure brevity and impact. You might even consider recording yourself or practicing in front of a mirror to refine your tone and delivery. As you begin to implement these strategies, you're likely to see a range of positive outcomes. At a basic level, you'll notice a marked improvement in clarity and coherence. You'll experience fewer misunderstandings and quicker alignment in your interactions. This alone can save countless hours and prevent numerous headaches in both personal and professional settings. An excellent outcome would be developing stronger persuasive power in negotiations or presentations. When you can articulate your points clearly and concisely, you're more likely to win others over to your perspective. You might find yourself recognized for your skill in delivering succinct, high-value content. This reputation can open doors and create opportunities you might not have otherwise encountered. The best possible outcome is developing a consistent ability to captivate with minimal words. Imagine being able to walk into any room, any situation, and command attention effortlessly, not through volume or bravado, but through the sheer power of your precisely chosen words. At this level, your communication style becomes part of your personal brand. People come to associate you with effective, efficient speech. They lean in when you speak, knowing that every word will count. Of course, as with any powerful tool, precision communication comes with its own set of potential pitfalls. One common issue is oversimplification, leading to missing details. In our quest for brevity, we might inadvertently omit information that's crucial for full understanding. The key is to learn to identify when brevity is compromising essential information. It's about finding ways to add nuance without ballooning your word count. Another potential problem is coming across as abrupt or curt. Precision doesn't mean sacrificing politeness or empathy. It's important to employ a polite tone and mindful phrasing. Pairing your concise statements with empathic listening can help maintain warmth in your interactions. Remember, the goal is to connect more effectively, not to create distance. As you continue to hone your precision communication skills, you'll likely find that it impacts far more than just your verbal interactions. It can change how you write, how you think, even how you perceive the world around you. You might find yourself becoming more observant, more analytical, always looking for the core essence of any situation or idea. Remember, becoming a master of precision communication is an ongoing journey. It requires consistent practice, self-awareness, and a willingness to continually refine your approach. But the rewards, in terms of enhanced influence, more effective problem-solving, and personal growth, are immeasurable. As we conclude this exploration of precision communication, take a moment to reflect on your own communication habits. How often do you find yourself using more words than necessary? What might change in your interactions if you approached each conversation with the goal of maximum impact through minimum words? In our next chapter, we'll delve into a dimension of communication that often goes unnoticed, yet wields immense power. We'll explore how you can influence others without saying a word, how your very presence can speak volumes. Are you ready to discover the silent language that can amplify your impact in ways you never imagined? Prepare to unlock the hidden power that lies beneath the surface of every interaction. Chapter 7: Quiet Influence. In a world that often celebrates the loudest voice in the room, there exists a subtle yet powerful force that can shape outcomes more effectively than any shouted command. This force doesn't demand attention, it commands it effortlessly. It doesn't push for control, it attracts followers naturally. Welcome to the realm of quiet influence, where understated presence and composed demeanor become your most potent tools for success. As we delve into this chapter, Imagine yourself in a high-stakes meeting. Tensions are running high, voices are rising, and everyone seems intent on making their point heard. Now picture someone who remains calm amidst this chaos. They don't raise their voice, yet when they speak, everyone listens. Their composure is a beacon of stability in a sea of agitation. This is the power of quiet influence in action. But what exactly is quiet influence, and why is it so important? At its core, quiet influence is about gaining respect and trust through composure rather than force. It's about recognizing that true confidence doesn't need to announce itself loudly. It speaks volumes through calm self-assurance. The importance of this skill cannot be overstated. In both personal and professional spheres, the ability to maintain composure under pressure is a hallmark of leadership. It builds credibility in a way that forceful assertions never can. When you remain calm in the face of challenges, you demonstrate a level of competence and reliability that others naturally gravitate towards. Moreover, quiet influence is about projecting stability and trust. In a world full of uncertainty, people are drawn to those who can provide a sense of grounding. By offering measured, thoughtful responses, even in high-pressure situations, you become a source of reassurance for others. This ability to stay centered not only helps you navigate conflicts more effectively, but also sets the tone for productive, respectful dialogue in any interaction. Understanding influence beyond words is key to mastering quiet influence. It's about recognizing that your presence alone can communicate volumes. The way you carry yourself, the energy you project, and the nonverbal cues you give off all contribute to your ability to influence others. This power of understated presence is rooted in authenticity. It's not about putting on a show or pretending to be something you're not. Instead, it's about aligning your outer demeanor with your inner sense of calm and confidence. When you lead with genuine composure, you create a magnetic field of influence around you. Nonverbal communication plays a crucial role in quiet influence. Your posture, for instance, speaks before you ever open your mouth. An open, upright stance conveys confidence and approachability. Eye contact, when used judiciously, can establish connection and convey sincerity. But it's not just about what others see, it's also about what they hear. Your vocal tone, pace, and inflection can either reinforce or undermine your message of calm authority. The perception of calm authority is a powerful attractor. When you exude quiet confidence, you invite trust. People are naturally drawn to those who seem to have things under control, especially in challenging situations. This doesn't mean appearing aloof or unemotional. Rather, it's about demonstrating emotional maturity and stability. The social dynamics of subtle leadership are fascinating. In group settings, it's often not the loudest or most talkative person who emerges as the leader, but the one who can provide a sense of direction and stability through their composed presence. This quiet influence can be more effective in guiding outcomes than overt attempts to control or dominate. Integrating silent authority into your interactions requires adaptability. Different professional settings may call for slight variations in how you express your quiet influence. In a boardroom, it might mean maintaining a steady gaze and measured speech. In a more casual team meeting, it could involve using subtle gestures to acknowledge others while maintaining your composure. Balancing soft power with firm boundaries is an art. While quiet influence is about projecting calm and stability, it doesn't mean being a pushover. It's crucial to maintain clear boundaries and stand firm on important issues. The key is to do so without resorting to aggressive or confrontational behavior. So how can you apply these concepts in your daily life? One practical step is to focus on body language calibration. Practice maintaining a steady, open posture in meetings or conversations. Be mindful of your eye contact, enough to convey confidence and engagement, but not so much that it becomes uncomfortable. If you tend to fidget when nervous, try focusing on your breathing to stay centered and still. Vocal practice is another crucial area. Record yourself speaking and analyze your tempo. Are you rushing your words when under pressure? Practice speaking at a calm, measured pace. Use deliberate pauses to emphasize key points. These moments of silence can be incredibly powerful in drawing attention to what you're saying. Work on developing a warm, confident tone that conveys authority without the need to raise your volume. As you begin to implement these strategies, you're likely to see a range of positive outcomes. At a basic level, you might notice a notable improvement in your presence and how others perceive your reliability. Discussions may become more balanced and less confrontational as your calm demeanor influences the overall tone of interactions. An excellent outcome would be earning respect as a level-headed advisor or leader. You might find yourself being sought out for your input in challenging situations, trusted to handle tense scenarios with composure and influence. Your ability to remain calm under pressure becomes a valuable asset, setting you apart in both personal and professional contexts. The best possible outcome is cultivating a serene, guiding authority that is widely recognized by your peers. At this level, you become the go-to person for sound judgment under pressure. Your quiet influence extends beyond immediate interactions, shaping the culture of your workplace or social circles. People not only seek your input, but also try to emulate your composed approach. Of course, as with any powerful tool, quiet influence comes with its own set of potential pitfalls. One common issue is the risk of having your quiet confidence misread as disinterest. To counter this, it's important to use reassuring facial expressions and subtle nods to show engagement. Following calm moments with positive, concise affirmations can also help reinforce that you're actively involved and care about the outcomes. Another potential problem is overcorrecting and becoming passive. Remember, quiet influence is not about being silent or withdrawing from interactions. It's about maintaining assertiveness through a clear stance on issues, combining your calm demeanor with decisive statements when necessary. As you continue to develop your quiet influence, you'll likely find that it impacts far more than just your professional life. It can change how you handle personal relationships, how you approach challenges, and even how you view yourself. You might discover a newfound sense of inner peace and confidence that permeates all aspects of your life. Remember, mastering quiet influence is an ongoing journey. It requires consistent practice, self-awareness, and a willingness to step back and observe the impact of your presence on others. But the rewards, in terms of enhanced respect, more effective leadership, and personal growth, are immeasurable. As we conclude this exploration of quiet influence, take a moment to reflect on your own presence. How do you carry yourself in challenging situations? What might change in your interactions if you approached each encounter with a sense of calm self-assurance? In our next chapter, we'll explore a dimension of communication that bridges the gap between thought and action. We'll uncover the secret to turning words into tangible results, to transforming ideas into reality. Are you ready to discover the missing link that can turn your quiet influence into a force for real-world change? Prepare to unlock the power that lies at the intersection of communication and execution. Chapter 8: Action Execution. In the realm of communication and influence, there's a critical juncture that often determines the difference between success and failure. It's the point where words meet reality, where intentions transform into outcomes. This chapter delves into that pivotal moment, exploring the art and science of turning talk into tangible results. Imagine a world where every well-crafted message, every brilliant idea, every carefully planned strategy seamlessly translates into real-world action. It's a world where the gap between saying and doing disappears, where words carry the weight of immediate impact. This isn't just a fantasy, it's a skill that can be developed, a process that can be mastered. But what exactly is action execution, and why is it so crucial? At its core, action execution is about bridging the often vast chasm between communication and implementation. It's about recognizing that even the most eloquent words are meaningless if they don't lead to concrete outcomes. This skill is the difference between being a visionary and being a true leader, between having potential and achieving results. The importance of this skill cannot be overstated. In both personal and professional spheres, the ability to translate ideas into action sets the achievers apart from the dreamers. It's about more than just getting things done. It's about building credibility, fostering trust, and creating a culture of accountability and results. One of the key aspects of action execution is the art of turning words into results. This involves creating a clear, unambiguous bridge between communication and action. It's about defining tangible outcomes that leave no room for misinterpretation. When you master this skill, your words become catalysts for change, sparking immediate momentum and driving progress. Structuring effective follow-through is another crucial element. This means setting clear goals and timelines that provide a roadmap for action. It's about creating accountability measures and checkpoints that keep everyone on track. By doing so, you transform vague intentions into concrete plans with measurable milestones. Aligning intent with impact is where the rubber meets the road in action execution. It's not enough to simply communicate your goals. You need to ensure that your message sparks momentum. This involves crafting your communication in a way that not only informs, but also motivates and inspires action. It's about overcoming the inertia of procrastination through clarity and purpose. But how do you sustain this momentum over time, especially when initial enthusiasm wanes? The key lies in creating systems for long-term consistency. This involves periodic review of commitments to keep them fresh and relevant. It's about establishing simple yet effective routines that maintain focus and drive without requiring constant effort. So, how can you apply these concepts in your daily life? One practical step is to focus on action-focused communication. Start every discussion with clear outcomes in mind. Use concise, unambiguous statements to define responsibilities. Don't let conversations end without scheduling immediate follow-ups to maintain momentum. Streamlining goal tracking is another crucial practice. Utilize short, structured updates to keep everyone informed without overwhelming them with information. Set small, achievable milestones that provide regular doses of motivation. Review progress frequently to ensure everyone remains aligned with the overall objectives. As you begin to implement these strategies, you're likely to see a range of positive outcomes. At a basic level, you might notice tasks being completed in a timelier manner. There will be enhanced clarity around group and personal objectives, reducing confusion and misalignment. An excellent outcome would be achieving higher success rates in your projects or endeavors. You might find yourself recognized for your consistent follow-through, earning a reputation as someone who doesn't just talk about ideas, but brings them to fruition. The best possible outcome is developing a seamless transition from intent to execution in all your initiatives. At this level, you build a strong track record of delivering results with minimal friction. Your words carry weight because people know that when you speak, action inevitably follows. Of course, as with any powerful approach, action execution comes with its own set of potential pitfalls. One common issue is the problem of vague directives leading to missed deadlines. To counter this, it's crucial to use explicit language when specifying deliverables. Establish realistic but firm completion dates, leaving no room for ambiguity. Another potential problem is overcomplication through excess steps. In our eagerness to be thorough, we might create overly complex action plans that hinder rather than help execution. The key is to trim unnecessary details, maintaining a lean approach to goal execution. Remember, the goal is action, not perfection in planning. As you continue to develop your action execution skills, you'll likely find that they impact far more than just your professional life. You might notice improvements in personal goal achievement, in the dynamics of your relationships, even in how you approach day-to-day tasks. The ability to consistently turn words into action becomes a defining characteristic, influencing every aspect of your life. Remember, mastering action execution is an ongoing journey. It requires consistent practice, self-awareness, and a willingness to learn from both successes and failures. But the rewards, in terms of enhanced productivity, increased influence, and personal satisfaction, are immeasurable. Behavioral psychology offers valuable insights into why this approach is so effective. When instructions are concise and responsibilities are well defined, the probability of follow-through significantly increases. there's less room for misinterpretation or procrastination. Moreover, self-efficacy research underscores that clarity and confidence in your plan amplify the likelihood of achieving goals. By using fewer words but packing them with intent, you create a clear path from thought to action. This approach also taps into the power of momentum. When you start with small, well-defined actions, you create a sense of progress that fuels further action. Each completed task, no matter how small, builds confidence and motivation for the next step. This snowball effect can turn even the most daunting projects into a series of manageable, achievable steps. Sustaining accountability is another crucial aspect of action execution. It's about creating a culture where follow-through is expected and celebrated. Regular progress checks prevent efforts from stalling. Transparent goals foster team alignment, ensuring everyone is moving in the same direction. Continuous feedback reinforces commitment, providing both encouragement and course correction as needed. One of the most powerful aspects of effective action execution is its ability to overcome procrastination. Often, we delay action because the path forward seems unclear or overwhelming. By breaking down objectives into clear, actionable steps, you remove these barriers. Clarity becomes the antidote to procrastination, turning vague anxieties into concrete tasks that can be tackled one by one. As you implement these strategies, pay attention to how they affect your communication style. You might find yourself naturally becoming more concise and purposeful in your speech. Your words carry more weight because they're consistently backed by action. This creates a positive feedback loop where your enhanced credibility leads to greater influence, which in turn drives more effective action. It's important to note that action execution isn't about becoming a taskmaster or sacrificing creativity for the sake of efficiency. On the contrary, it's about creating a framework that allows ideas to flourish and innovation to thrive. When basic execution becomes second nature, you free up mental energy to focus on higher-level thinking and problem-solving. As we conclude this exploration of action execution, take a moment to reflect on your own habits. How often do your words translate directly into action? What might change in your life if every intention was followed by immediate, purposeful steps towards realization? The journey from talk to action is one that never truly ends. It's a constant process of refinement, of aligning our words more closely with our deeds. But with each step, we move closer to a state of congruence where our actions speak as loudly as our words. In our final chapter, we'll explore how all these skills, from mindful silence to precision communication, from quiet influence to action execution, come together to create a lasting impact. We'll uncover the secret to maintaining and amplifying your effectiveness over time. Are you ready to discover how to turn these individual skills into a cohesive, powerful approach that can transform not just your communication, but your entire life? Prepare to unlock the final piece of the puzzle that ties everything together into a force of lasting change. Chapter 9: Lasting Quiet Impact. As we reach the culmination of our journey through the art of powerful yet restrained communication, it's time to zoom out and see the bigger picture. The skills and strategies we've explored aren't just isolated techniques. They're the building blocks of a transformative approach to interaction that can reshape your entire life. This final chapter is about weaving these threads together into a tapestry of lasting impact, one that will continue to evolve and strengthen over time. Think back to where you were when you first opened this book. Perhaps you felt overwhelmed by the noise of constant communication, struggling to make your voice heard amidst the clamor. Or maybe you were already a skilled communicator, but sensed there was a deeper level of impact you could achieve. Wherever you started, you've now embarked on a path that leads to a profoundly different way of engaging with the world. The power of what you've learned lies not just in its immediate application, but in its potential for long-term transformation. By consistently practicing these principles, you're not just changing your behavior, you're rewiring your brain. Habit formation research shows that repeated, purposeful practice creates new neural pathways, making concise and impactful communication as natural as breathing. But how exactly can these newfound skills empower you? Let's start with decision-making and leadership. In crucial moments when others might succumb to pressure and resort to verbose explanations or hasty reactions, you now have the tools to rely on clarity and focus. Your ability to command attention through thoughtful restraint sets you apart, allowing you to influence outcomes through strategic dialogue rather than forceful assertions. Moreover, these skills enhance your confidence and self-awareness in profound ways. You've learned to cultivate a calm, centered approach to interaction, appreciating the powerful role of silence in shaping perception. By integrating reflection into your daily routines, you're setting the stage for continuous growth and self-improvement. The impact of these skills extends far beyond your professional life. Consider how they can deepen your personal relationships. By listening attentively to loved ones without interruption, you create space for genuine connection. Conflicts that might once have escalated can now be resolved through measured, empathetic dialogue. You've learned to validate emotional needs by offering space for expression, a gift that can transform your closest relationships. In the professional realm, these skills foster harmony and productivity. You now have the tools to encourage cooperative team environments, manage meetings with balanced input and structured silence, and promote respect and mutual understanding across various roles. Your ability to navigate complex interpersonal dynamics with grace and purpose makes you an invaluable asset in any organization. Perhaps most exciting are the new horizons these skills open up. You're now equipped to navigate high-stakes conversations with ease, maintaining poise in negotiations or conflicts that might have once felt overwhelming. Your ability to achieve alignment faster through succinct dialogue and capitalize on strategic pauses to steer outcomes gives you a significant advantage in any interaction. Moreover, you've developed the rare and valuable ability to communicate complex ideas simply. You can now condense multi-layered concepts without losing their essence, cater to audiences of varying expertise levels, and build synergy by focusing on common ground. This skill alone can set you apart as a thought leader and influencer in your field. As you continue to practice these concepts, you'll find that your results improve with less and less effort. The new habits you're forming become ingrained, allowing concise communication to become second nature. By periodically assessing your progress and recalibrating your goals, you ensure sustainable growth through habitual practice. The returns on this investment of effort are exponential. You'll witness ongoing improvements in trust and influence as others come to rely on your clear, impactful communication. Achievements that once seemed daunting become attainable through more efficient interactions. Perhaps most importantly, you'll experience the freedom that comes with truly productive, meaningful conversation. This is the cumulative power of strategic restraint. Over time, you'll notice gradual shifts toward more concise habits in all areas of your life. Your communication style will evolve, becoming more refined and impactful with each passing day. What once required conscious effort will become an integral part of who you are. Maintaining silence and precision as daily habits is key to this ongoing evolution. Regular self-checks on your speaking patterns and continuous refinement of your techniques ensure that you're always growing, always improving. This isn't about reaching a fixed endpoint. It's about embracing a journey of lifelong development. The long-term benefits of this approach are profound. On a personal level, you'll experience growth through reduced noise, finding clarity and purpose in a world that often feels chaotic. Professionally, your purposeful communication will give you a distinct edge, opening doors to opportunities you might never have imagined. As we conclude this book, I invite you to reflect on how you can integrate these principles of speak less, achieve more into your everyday life. This isn't about following a rigid set of rules, but about embracing a philosophy of confident minimalism in your interactions. It's about recognizing that your most powerful impact often comes not from what you say, but from the thoughtful restraint you exercise. The journey you've embarked on doesn't end with the closing of this book. In fact, this is just the beginning. You now possess a toolkit for transformation, one that will continue to yield benefits for years to come. As you move forward, remember that each interaction is an opportunity to practice, to refine, to grow. Imagine a future where your every word carries weight, where your silence speaks volumes, where your presence alone can shift the dynamics of a room. This future is within your grasp. By consistently applying the principles you've learned, you're not just changing how you communicate, you're changing who you are and how you engage with the world. The true power of these skills lies in their compounding effect. Each small improvement, each moment of thoughtful restraint, each instance of clear, impactful communication builds upon the last. Over time, these incremental changes add up to a transformation that's nothing short of remarkable. As you close this book and step back into your daily life, carry with you the knowledge that you now possess something truly valuable. You have the tools to cut through the noise, to influence with integrity, to lead with quiet confidence. You have the ability to create lasting impact through the power of restrained yet potent communication. Remember, the most profound changes often come not from grand gestures, but from consistent, mindful practice. Each day presents countless opportunities to apply what you've learned. Embrace these moments, no matter how small they may seem, for it's in these everyday interactions that the seeds of lasting transformation are sown. You've embarked on a journey toward a more impactful, more intentional way of engaging with the world. The path ahead is filled with potential, with opportunities for growth and influence that you're now uniquely equipped to seize. As you move forward, trust in the power of your newfound skills, in the strength of your quiet impact. The world is waiting for voices like yours, voices that speak with purpose, listen with intention, and influence with integrity. You have the power to shape conversations, to guide outcomes, to inspire change. Use this power wisely, use it often, and watch as your quiet impact reverberates through every aspect of your life, creating ripples of positive change that extend far beyond yourself. Your journey of speaking less and achieving more has only just begun. Embrace it with confidence, curiosity, and commitment. The future you envision, one of clear communication, meaningful connections, and profound influence, is now within your reach. But there's another dimension to this skill that can amplify your impact even further. It's about not just what you say, but how you initiate and navigate conversations themselves. Mastering this aspect is crucial for truly leveraging the power of restrained communication. Curious about how to take your newfound skills to the next level? The answers await in the audiobook Quiet Confidence: How to Achieve More by Saying Less. Tap the center of the video now to continue your transformation journey.